foolish mortals, to another momentous Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It was actually kind of nice and a little bit of rain, a little bit of sun over here out in Colorado. So it's a pretty good day. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day, a great Juneteenth, great Pride weekend. If that's in Denver, we usually have our Pride weekend parade around the same time as Father's Day. We also used to have our Denver Comic Con around the same weekend. It was a very busy weekend for that weekend in June usually. So hopefully when we get our new Fan Expo people, they will move it away from so many events now that Juneteenth is a holiday and Pride weekend, and usually the Rockies are playing, and it's a very busy time downtown. So, hey, Salacious, how you doing? Luke, how you doing, man? Yeah, it's been a while. Great to see you. Gilster, what's up? Hey, what's up, man? Kat, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, it's nice to see you. Well, they're the Rockies, so you know, we kind of let that go. We actually usually do pretty year most of the year before the All Star game, and then as soon as the All Star game comes and goes, then we completely collapse. Almost every year, it's really weird. So, what's up, Dean? Nice. That is a good set. I still need the Vision and the Gray Hulk out of that, but just to complete that wave. Troy, how you doing, man? Well, we didn't have apart from Father's Day, we didn't have a 3-day drinking holiday in uh, June. We have graduations and there's June weddings and it's Pride Month and we have a Comic Con and it's Father's Day and Juneteenth is we celebrate here in Denver and have for a long time. Down in Five Points, they have a great little parade sometimes, and it's a good time to get together out in the parks and stuff and just enjoy history, enjoy people. Um, so I really wish everything needs to spread out a little more. Seems like every other week's a holiday now. Hey, Fabulous, how you doing? John Joker, what's up, buddy? Adam, how you doing, man? Salacious. Now you didn't chloroform Bob again, did you? At some point he's going to see the data usage on his phone and he's not going to be happy. But so, um, it's an interesting week. Like I said, I've run out of mystery boxes, so we're not going to be doing those anymore. I may start doing just collection boxes, but last weekend was a collector show I was part of, and we did pretty well. But uh, I just haven't had time to get everything back together. So today, instead, I'll show you what I picked up this week, and we're going to open some toys, which is something new for my channel and new for me. I don't really open a lot of stuff. So, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, especially this last weekend, man, it was hot off and on. I mean, it's supposed to be 90, it was 75 today and 97 tomorrow. So that's Colorado for you, though. But most of our parks have some pretty decent foliage coverage, so it's not so bad. Plus, like when I came home yesterday, the park over by my house, there were some really big tents and stuff. People looked like they were having a church service at one and then a cookout at another. It looked like a lot of fun. Everybody's saying hi as always. Yep, I'm gonna open some stuff. I do have duplicates of all this stuff, so it's not like I'm opening fresh things. I'm opening some stuff that I didn't sell at the show, and that I would like to make a little display of maybe sometime. I don't know if I'll ever get any of those case things. Excuse me, that glass case things that everybody else has, but I might come up with something. Exactly, and I figure if I want to go do some hunting tomorrow. I don't necessarily want to buy anything, but I would like to get some hunts in. I mean, I've got some people dropping IMs and stuff saying, you're not putting out anything. Are you okay? I'm okay. I'm having an existential crisis in my collection at the moment, but more about that later. So I feel if I make these sacrifices, maybe I'll finally have some stuff to show you guys in a hunt. So that's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see if that works. Hey Dave, how you doing? Thank you, sir. And if you are a football fan over there, I guess football's going nuts. Um, so actually, well, by now it's 11 o'clock. Most of the game should probably be over. But a guy I follow who does walks around London was doing a walk to Wembley tonight. So it was pretty cool. Exactly. Yeah. I actually have not watched wrestling in ages. I loved wrestling as a younger kid and a teenager. I really probably stopped wrestling, not watching wrestling, not too long after probably like Stone Cold was gone. I don't think Cena was here yet. I don't know what that era is called, but I didn't have cable anymore, so I couldn't watch it anymore, and I kind of fell out of it. Now I do still pick up figures. I still pick up like some Undertakers, and I'm probably maybe gonna fall for like the King Lawler figure. That's pretty cool. There's a Nikolai Volkov that I really like. I like the old school guys. There's a Paul Orndorff. Um, so I don't not really big on the new guys because I don't have any connection to them. But I love a WWF. Yeah. So I mean, KB, what's your era of wrestling that you love the best? I got a buddy who's you'll meet him again. I want to have him in. He's the Beard. Guys on the channel know him, and he is a huge wrestling fan. Anything Japanese, lucha libre, uh, TNT, AEW, a whatever old ECW, all that kind of stuff. He's got tons of figures, and so I bet because that wasn't too long, before he started doing movies and stuff, and now, then Batista kind of left for a minute and then came back, and nice. I keep meaning to start watching wrestling, but I don't watch TV anymore. So really, all I'd be watching is like updates from Raw or whatever they all are. I do want to find the hot rod. I want to find the Galvatron. I've decided that even though I'm going to stop my collection pretty much, I'm going to finish off what are the 86 Transformers from the movie. They're pretty. They are part of the Fall of the Kingdom line. So I'll probably end up with some of those. I want the Huffer. He's really cool. There's an Ultra Magnus that's nice. I figure if I buy one a week, I can make it affordable for me. Oh wow, that was a great WrestleMania. I had a boss who, when I worked at KB, and he got WrestleManias every year, so we watched them. I don't know through WrestleMania 20 or so. It was like crazy. No, I I know the beard does, and I have an autograph from Mick Foley um, as Mankind, but I do not. Ohio is a nice place. If you're going there for another reason, I don't know if I'd pick. If you're coming to America, I don't know if I'd pick Columbus, but Columbus is a pretty nice place. I don't know about toy shopping there. I haven't been in Columbus in about 20, 25 years. Um, but so the whole market's changed and everything's changed by then. But I'd say pop on to Google and put in Toy Stores Columbus, Ohio, and see what it comes up with. I think there's some guys around here who um, live out in toward that area. I think there's a couple guys who live in Indiana, which is next to it, so they might know. Cool. Oh yeah, Piper. I love Piper. He was such a nice guy, and just just down to earth. I met him at a event that was kind of a local wrestling thing, that he was just kind of giving instructions for. He was kind of helping them get their stuff set up. He was just the nicest guy, and I took one of my hot rod t-shirts and had him autograph it. Wish I would have gotten a figure or a picture. I don't know what I was thinking of, a t-shirt autographed. Now I got to get that put up somewhere. Hey, Downfall, how you doing, man? We do jump. Um, it's generally we're having two or three different conversations depending on where I am in the stream, and a lot of guys love WWF and WWE, and it's fun, and it's all the same to me. All that stuff overlaps because it's the Hasbro figures, or that was before Jax took over making um, WWF figures and stuff, or LGN. I do have a couple of LGN guys around, and I loved those. They were great. I mean, you do anything with those guys. I I don't have any clue. I know uh, Nathan Bowden and a couple guys did a watch party for it, but I ended up having to work that night, so I didn't get to watch it or even pay attention. So I don't even really know where anything is. It is. It's Sokka was funny, and Dink and Doink, the clowns, they were hilarious. No, I am in Denver. I'm in Denver, Colorado. So a few states over from Ohio, which I do recommend you come here. It's a beautiful place. We have great mountains you can hike, drive around, go to Breckenridge. You can go down and see Garden of the Gods, go up and take a tour of the Coors Brewery or the Budweiser Brewery. Go up to the Dry Dock Breweries up in Boulder. There's a lot to see here. We have some pretty decent uh, collectible stores here and there. Um, Not as many as we did before, that which must not be named, but we're recovering slowly but surely. There's a couple of new collector stores that have opened up recently. Hey Franco, how you doing? There's the man who will know. Yeah, see, Downfall knows his wrestling. So if anybody would have watched, it would have been Downfall. General Kenobi. We do set. See now, Luke, you just need to start throw some history thing out there, and we'll really get a weird. We'll get a real weird conversation going. Then I made a Big Daddy. Uh, I can't follow. All the wrestling figures look a lot alike to me, and they reproduce them so much in different series is I can't keep track of what is and isn't. Go America, go Broncos. Honestly, Coors and Budweiser taste horrible anyway. Um, Living here most of my life, I I don't drink alcohol that comes out of me the same color that it went in. So I drink mostly Guinness, really. And oh, see, now what happens is that Mark is going to have to get put in timeout. Nobody, nobody. Mark, if you get here, I'll take you to his steakhouse, and you'll take those back. Orton versus Austin. Man, if Steve Austin came back and started doing stuff, that'd be awesome. That's okay. He doesn't understand football. He's British. He just thinks it's some sort of weird rugby. Don't pay Mark no mind. I'm kidding. Uh, I miss Elway. When he had car dealerships and stuff around here, now he seems to be slightly insane. which is okay because he's an owner now, so he can be insane. But um, I don't think we're going to do much better this year for the Broncos than we did last year. I actually stopped watching football several years ago myself, but I do keep track of them every so often. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it can be. I've never really liked Coors. I don't like what I call clear beers, the yellow beers. Budweiser, Bud Light, Keystone, Coors. There's some Sam Adamses I like that are, you know, uh, okay. I like the Oktoberfests, but I'm more stout. I like stouts. Um, Stout by nature, stout by beer. Um, so Guinness is my favorite. I easily put down a 6 pack, of Guinness, no problem. Honestly, Mark, who's your favorite quarterback of all time? Honest question, and don't say Dan Marino. Well, he's not wrong. I mean, I have some friends who are die-hard Coors fans, but you know, yeah. Poor Detroit. I really thought when they got Luck and stuff, they were going to do so much better, and it just proves that one man can't fix a team unless that man is Tom Brady, apparently. True. Yeah, I don't like light ales. I don't. They give me hangovers. I can drink 10, 15 Guinnesses a night. I won't get a hangover the next morning. None. But I have like a pitcher of Keystone or PBR or Coors or Budweiser, and I will have a killer headache in the morning that I just cannot deal with. Marino. That's the worst statue ever. I miss Plummer. Plummer's great, and when I moved to Colorado, there was no Elway. We had um, Craig Morton was our quarterback then, and then Steve DeBerg and Elway came. Um, I still would love if we got Aaron Rodgers. There's no way we're going to pay for him. There's no way the Packers are going to let him go. But it would be great. It's the most sports we've ever talked on my channel. I didn't mind Orton, and Cutler had his moments, and so did Tebow for what little he was here and allowed to play. Um, I think it just kind of, I think some of those guys just got rolled over because it was too close to Elway, and you know, the only person who came in who got treated with any respect was Manning. You know, oh yeah. Well, and there's so many of these older guys who couldn't possibly even play the game. Could you imagine Mike Ditka actually being on the field? He's so small. Even when he was a player, he wasn't huge like everybody else. I would say Favre is definitely up there in the top five. I hate him with an absolute passion, but I cannot say that Tom Brady is not one of the top two or three best quarterbacks of all time. He really is, and we saw it as soon as he left the Patriots. What happened to the Patriots? They didn't go anywhere. Where'd the Buccaneers go? To the Super Bowl. So, you know, I like Roman Reigns. He's a he seems pretty good. I just the WWE seems too much. There's too much CW in the WWE. It's it's too much drama. And back in the day, there were funny skits and things, Brother Love and Piper's Pit and stuff like that. But I don't get the whole, you're dating my woman and stuff. You know, I do think Tebow needed more time. Michael Vick was fantastic. Well, we were talking quarterbacks. There is no one. who played the game better than Walter Payton. And Jerry Rice was incredible. And it's that 49ers team was great. Montana was always a good quarterback. I hated him because he crushed the Broncos, but I think came back when he was a chief and beat us. Tebow just needed some time, and what he needed was somebody who would put the time and energy into training him properly and to get him to fix some of his stance work and stuff. But he would have been a perfectly good, serviceable quarterback for us, especially in the offense we were running at the time. Walter was a hero, always will be. Hell, 2021 Batista would pretty much destroy anybody, I think. That man is just crazy. That's what my buddy the Beard says is to watch NTX. But he only watches AEW. Um, so that's all he watches. I and Marino was Marino, but he was part of the AFC, so he was the enemy. Don't wake Bob up. We'll stop talking about football. Don't worry about it. We'll get to something better here in a minute or so. He there was I don't think there'll be anybody like Walter Payton again. And he, you know, there's and he was the greatest. You know, cool. I, the Beard is the opposite way. He hates Steve Young and he worships Joe Montana. Woohoo! Glad it got there. I hope you will enjoy putting it together. Um, I just, I don't do models. I almost got tricked into it today because there was something on Amazon Prime today. I almost bought my own little kit of stuff to do Gundams with you guys. But if I join you guys for Gundams, I'll just build a Lego or something. I can sit back and just be there to chat. Mr. Nathan, how you doing? We are talking old school WWF a little bit and some football at the moment. He had a he had a pretty good run doing it the way he did. Um, he got us to playoffs. That's more than we've done recently. That is very true. Growing up in the 70s, I will have to say that the two biggest influences on my football love were the Oakland Raiders with John Madden and the Dallas Cowboys with Tom Landry. And I know it's, America's team, blah blah blah. I don't like the Cowboys anymore. But they were on a lot because we lived more back east. And so we didn't see the Broncos. We barely ever saw the Chiefs. And being from Kansas, I generally supported the Chiefs, and the Royals. But once we moved back east a little bit, I actually started rooting for the Bears and for the Yankees and for the Oakland and Dallas. So, you know, true. Blue Harvest is starting up a fantasy league. If you would like to hit him up on IG or Twitter, and he can tell you all the deets about that. Kenny Stabler was great. And Joe Namath and a lot of those older guys that you don't get to see anymore. You know what I miss is I miss NFL films, and I think they run them on the ESPN pay-per-view channel or whatever that Disney has. But that was how I learned a lot about other teams that I didn't get to follow. And they had great music, and that guy, the announcer for NFL films, was great. Well, he's playing today, so we'll see. And I always thought he'd be better if he'd switch positions. I didn't mean to switch to being an outfielder or anything, but it would have been nice to Yep, JYD, George the Animal Steel, Jake the Snake Roberts, Coco Beware, Andre the Giant, and Hulk Hogan. where my big influence is into, because we didn't get a lot of local wrestling stuff. So when was it Saturday Night Fights or whatever that was that started way back in the day with Gorilla Monsoon and them, and then Jesse the Body came and started doing stuff. Um, that was when I got into wrestling, because we didn't have it in Denver a lot. Then we finally got it. Thanks, G. I know Bob was working on one with Aaron the other day, and they got not too far. See, there's another great set. I think I don't know what broke football, but you have to admit that a lot of the 70s and 80s teams were evenly matched. The Packers were great. The Oakland was good. Um, Miami was good. The Packers were good. The Bears were good. The Giants were okay. The Cowboys were good. And then now it seems very the same, like six teams get into this playoffs or Super Bowl every year, and I'm tired of that. You know. Well, and poor Oakland, now they're stuck. I mean, now you've got the Las Vegas Raiders. I just, man, I I don't know. Thank God that place is inside. Can you? Well, I've been there. Can you imagine Vegas trying to play a sport outside in Vegas in August and early September? Oh, I, the Beard talks about him a lot, and that's I really do need to watch more stuff. But on my days at work, I try and watch as many live streams or stuff I missed from the day before playing in the background while I'm working. And so I don't have time to actually physically watch something. And then I get stuck, um, not stuck, at night when I get home, usually almost every night of the week, either I'm on something or somebody I do modding for, something like that, are on. So I don't get to watch real TV hardly at all, like 1 hour a night, if that. I know it's crazy, but you have to admit, G-Force, that what got most of America into the Cowboys was not the players. It was the cheerleaders. Come on. And everybody accidentally renting Debbie Does Dallas and thinking it was something to do with the Cowboys. They did. And when they would do those specials of like big hits and stuff like that, and nobody hits like that anymore. They can't. I mean, the guys can't take that kind of punishment. They're way too big now. And a lot of those older guys have damage that nobody knew. Obviously you're going to hurt yourself if you're a 300-pound guy running into another 300-pound guy going about 8 miles an hour. So you're going to do damage. Oh well, yeah, that's very true. Go Packers. It was, you had those great rivalries between the Lakers and the Bulls and the Celtics in NBA, and San Antonio and stuff in the late '80s, early '90s. And it, baseball was great. That's when I was following, George Brett and stuff with the Royals and Reggie Jackson. I mean, there's just so much. Okay, I'll check that out tomorrow. See, I do that all day Saturday and Sunday. If people aren't actually doing live streams, I work generally Saturday and Sunday and sometimes 12 hours a day. So I can turn them on and let them run and catch up. And if I hear, that's why descriptive toy hunts are really good for me, because if Sleeping says, "Oh, look at that GI Joe," I'll minimize and look quote real quick to see what he's found and where he's found and how many there are. So, calendars don't count, Mark. We all have that. That is truth. 100% truth. No, no. The Jets will fuck you over. Rick will. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna say goodbye. He'll never run around and desert you like the Jets will. I still remember the Jets, tons of Jet fans. I don't remember if it was in the 80s or 90s, and they all wore bags on their heads. And, what that was back when the Unknown Comic and stuff was out, so it was funnier. But, well, let me start. You guys can keep saying stuff, and we'll get back to it. So, stuff. Um, Stuff I've bought this week. Now, as everybody knows, I'm kind of winding my collection down for now. I'm not buying a ton of stuff. I wasn't buying anything, but when Vic was doing, she was our guest on Pegwarmers Saturday. Found some bendable figures I had never seen before, and I love to have collect bits of things in my collection that I hadn't seen before. So I picked some of these up, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. So first is James Kirk, and he comes with a phaser and a communicator. And as you can see, there's several different ones. There's of course, a Kirk, a Spock, a McCoy, and a Uhura. So those are cool. And the Houston Oilers no longer exist. That's sad. That Mark, I love that the NFL goes over to Europe and does stuff. I miss the NFL Europe league. I don't know why they called it the World League of American Football. So that would be its acronym would be LAUGH. The world is laughing at us. Was not a good marketing idea. Next up is Batman. And they all come with stands, and so they have holes in their feet so you can stand them up. Let me show you one I've opened, like a cooking show. Let me show you one I prepared earlier. So this is Sauron from Lord of the Rings. Very cool figure. Got a cool cape. It's not cloth. It is plastic. But as you can see, it comes with these neat little stands. So you can put them up, because normally Bendham figures don't stand up at all because, first of all, they don't sit well, and that Sauron's going to attack me at any moment. But I Warren Moon was so good. There's an Eric Dickerson, and there's so many players. Dan Faust, players from back in the day, I miss a lot. That had a better style. I don't know. Yeah, it does kind of look like an older Batman. And there's they did 6 figures for this wave. There's a Catwoman and a Green Lantern, a Superman, a Flash, and a Joker. So, and the only reason I opened the hey Tina, the only reason I opened the Sauron one was that it had a huge rip right in the back of the package. Amazon, you can, if you really look, every one of them is dinged at the corners because they put it in is exactly this size. So if they would put it in one box bigger, and there was no packing material or anything, of course, because it's Amazon. But so they're all damaged on the corner, but the other one had a huge damage in the side. So they also did Universal Monsters. And so there's 4 of these. There's Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Dracula. And I'm generally a sucker for new stuff from Universal Monsters. Jada has some figures coming out, as does NECA. So, nice. Oh, Left Coast, I need to send you a IM. I forgot that from Papa Gord's thing last night. Oh, wow, that would be cool. That would be neat. I don't have any Warhammer stuff, but And sadly, much like Vic's, it's bending. So I'm not sure exactly. Whoopsies, came off his thing here. Um, if I'm going to leave him like that or what, I'll have to see. I do have a Toy Biz of him open somewhere too, so maybe I'll put them together. Um, yeah, see, that's what I like is at least Warren Moon got to go up and really play well in there. Kind of like Doug Flutie and some of those guys. Yep. Um, and another wave that they got is Harry Potter. And these guys come with cloth cloaks and wands. And you get Harry and Hermione in this set, along with Dumbledore and Dobby. So I don't mind these. I think I don't think I'll buy any more of them because I haven't ever seen them anywhere. The only place they had these at Forbidden Planet in London, and then I just looked them up to see where they were here. And the only place that seems to sell them really is Amazon. They're $14 a piece. They're not too bad, but I like them, and they'll fit in a nice row of stuff. I'll probably pick up another Lord of the Rings just for the packaging. I'll show you the packaging for the Lord of the Rings one was pretty cool too. So kind of reminds me of the Toy Biz packaging. There's a Frodo, a Gollum, Gandalf, and Sauron. So not too bad. I probably out in California. We don't have any Warhammer stores here in Denver. We have several collector stores and hobby stores that sell a ton of Warhammer stuff and the paints and everything else that you need for it. But we don't specifically have any just Warhammer stores. Oh my God. I had a friend who did that and he had the big magnifying glass. He was really good at it. And he had an incredible collection, but that is so expensive. I mean, you people think the hot toys are expensive. That's nothing compared if you get sucked into Warhammer. Warhamster. Cam Newton was great. And he's still pretty good. And I think he's one of those guys that's consistent. And that's the way you make a great long career, not super storied, but an incredibly long career. And people are like, oh, here's Cam Newton. He's in his 18th year, and everybody's like, really? Wow, creep. I You leave us bearded geeks alone. Just because you can't grow a beard. She is. Tina is great. Tina's always around. John Joker's always around. Left Coast is always around here. Mark is here all the time. It's really great. Um, you know, G Force is great. All these guys. There's a great core of about 20 guys, 20 of you guys who pop in all the time and say hi, and it really means a lot to me. I know I don't get a lot of views. I'm not sleeping. I don't have 60 or 70 people show up in my streams, but you know, I love you guys who do show up. It's great. You always have great comments and great conversation, and it really makes my day. If I do a live stream and stuff, I've generally not had a great day, and you guys are always here, and we can just have random conversations about generally anything. I have too much information in my head, and I would like to get rid of some of it. So, oh, Cam Wake. Okay, I thought you meant Cam Newton. You're not supposed to tell people you're stalking them, Tina. Ah, jeez. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have friends who don't watch NFL at all anymore. They feel that college football is closer to real football. And of course, that may or may not be the case anymore after yesterday's ruling by the Supreme Court that the NCAA cannot stop people from paying athletes. So instead of giving Nike giving all that money to say Stanford or Southern California or whatever, they're going to start giving it directly to the players, which is kind of a good thing. But what I don't want is I don't want the players to start looking at college as a job. I still want them to get a degree or at least be there and do. I don't want them to just become employees, which is might be what happens. It'd be easiest for them to join to then get a union or perhaps even become employees of the college. And I don't think I like that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this all washes out because there's money to spread, but then will how will Title IX and stuff be used against it? Will you have to fund swimming as much as you fund football? It'll be interesting to see how this all rolls out. Hey, Southern Comic Geek, how you doing? I was watching that auction the other day. Almost won a couple things. Money was tight, so I didn't keep pushing my luck. Yeah, well, they keep changing the rules to suit certain things. I don't mind making the game safer. I'm all for that. Some of the injuries these guys have had are horrific, you know, for Tarkington. But and I don't like the head-to-heads, helmet to helmet stuff, that kind of stuff, because these guys are too big and too fast these days. And when I was playing football in high school and I blew my knee apart, so I didn't get to play anything else. Um, I was the biggest guy on our team, and at 6'3" and about 260, and I could push my way around people pretty easily. But then I also became a target. Hmm. You should, Troy. And I really like that figure, except I really wish it looked more dark sidey. It really just looks like Ray found a cloak somewhere, one of Kylo's robes, and just threw it on. And it doesn't look, she doesn't look evil. I would like the red eyes or the pointed teeth or whatever, but that would have, except for the painting of the eyes, that would have meant making a new head sculpt for her. And she doesn't look menacing at all, which is what I would like for her to look, because she looks scary. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more than just that flash of her, but that's story contrivances and stuff for another day. Yeah, yeah, and Migo's putting out some cool stuff. I'm actually hoping to find a uh, uh, Willy Wonka out there tomorrow when I go driving. Oh God, that would be so cool. I mean, central to all of us would be something like, well, for anybody except on the western side of me, uh, would probably be like St. Louis, somewhere like that, or Nashville, which probably doesn't have, if we're trying to find something central, if we're trying to find something cool to shop and stuff, then we'd need to meet up somewhere really good. But I would love, I know I can't do it this year, but I know that Aaron and Sleeping and them are going to meet up in California. And when I'm down or in Orlando, when I'm down in Orlando in December, I'm hoping to catch up with Sleeping with Super Awesome Geek Show John. Um, so we'll see, and some friends who have moved out there. That is true. I would love us all to go to a con together, like Dragon Con or something like that. That's maybe down near Atlanta, something, because everybody seems to be in the South around here. Or I don't think we could do a San Diego, or you could all come out here for our first Fan Fest, which should be next year, which could be really cool. We don't know. This will be the first year of the new company running it. And this time it's going to be more for profit than anything, which there's embezzlement stuff with the old one. And so, um, yeah, no. And it, all it does is, look how that's affected uh, baseball and stuff. And it's, you know, we would own said venue. There would be no kicking out. Because they just asked me to go back to my room. So, and if anybody's been to Dragon Cons, they're nuts. They're held in 7 hotels in downtown Atlanta. And on Saturday, they have like an hour to 2 hour long parade of cosplayers. If you're big into cosplaying and stuff, then Dragon Con and people watching, that's one for you. It's great. There's tons of celebrities to meet. That's where I get a ton of my autographs and stuff. You get a chance to talk to people because there's so many celebrities that the line is super spread out. And unless it's somebody like Ryan Reynolds or somebody like that, you actually get to talk to them. You get to talk to these great character actors who have been in tons of stuff that you like. And they love talking, especially the voice actors. I have found that I can't read anymore. I don't know when this happened. I used to read a book, at least a book a week. Sometimes I'd be in the middle of 2 or 3 books in a week. Now I can read for about a half hour before my eyes get so tired and I can't. Now I can listen to an audiobook, and maybe that's what happened is when I started listening to audiobooks at work, I lost the ability to read. I even went back and tried to start reading Sherlock Holmes again, which I usually used to reread every year. Nope. Got bored, got tired, and that was that. Oh, the Headless Horseman, cool. I love Sleepy Hollow. Not the movie, but well, I do like the movie too. But the story, cool. Maybe I'll see those tomorrow. And that's the other thing is I did for a time just read nonfiction history books and stuff, and that could hurt us. The one on the Plantagenets was good. Um, you know, see, now Denver's becoming central. I know there's several people here, and there's a couple in Arizona, and Vegas would be cool. They don't have a lot of collector stores out there, but Nate would know some. He's been out there. Nice. Hey, Gilster. Yeah. So hopefully, once they start talking about the only thing we have coming up this year now is in August, which is the uh, Colorado Springs Con, which is still going to go forward. They threw the dice that everything was going to be cool by then, and so they're going to run that. So what's called going to be called Denver Fan Expo next year is supposed to start announcing pricing structures and stuff like that. So hopefully that will run, and that'll be sometime in early summer next year. So I, you know, we've got one of those in Larkspur. They haven't said if they're going to run the Renaissance Festival this year, to which everybody said, pandemic, they lived through the plague. So, hey, WK Figs, how you doing? Yeah. And see, that's what I do. I'd turn one on and I'd get through most of a normal size book in a day, unless it was something like I recently started the autobiography of Ulysses S. Grant, which is 37 hours long. So he did a lot of stuff. So, and then there was one on Churchill that was 49 hours long. And I work my way through those a little at a time. So, truth. Or the Bahamas. That would be cool. I wonder if anybody has ever thought of running. Now, I know they did the Star Trek cruises and Disney does their cruises. I wonder if they've ever thought about creating like a floating geek show that was like 4 or 5 days long. It'd be just a con, and only con goers could get on it. It wouldn't no normies. You would just sell out the entire ship, and it would be a floating San Diego Comic Con type thing. That'd be pretty cool. Uh, I cannot, I can't read on pads. I just can't. Those hurt my eyes even more. So that's right. The Brits aren't European anymore. Well, sort of. Yeah. And so many of those were great. We went on a long road trip and we got the Dragonlance Chronicles on tape and listened to them from Denver all the way down to Dallas. It was, we had a great time. And then we listened to Dragonlance Legends on the way back. So that was so much fun. And that's why I'm a member of Prime. You know, I get one book a month and that's enough. Um, Sometimes they'll run a deal, 2 for 1. I have all my Dresden books on audio, so I can listen to them whenever I want. I have all the Potter books. I have some Star Wars. That's how I've started listening to the High Republic, whatever that new stuff is. I haven't had to run yet. No comment. Aristotle. I've never really broken down and read a lot of Aristotle. You know, the normal stuff, some of the fairy tales and things like that, but um, and like Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. I've read parts of both, but I've never, some of the super classics I have a hard time getting through. And it's not the language because, you know, I've read, you know, most Shakespeare, the normal English literature stuff. Um, but then I tried to get away from a lot of that and get into more American authors and American stuff. A lot more female writers. Of course, Agatha Christie, I love. And One of my friends is a writer, and he's African American. He has a great books, a couple great books, and he really opened my eyes to some great authors of color that I didn't even know existed. Because I don't look for that when I just, if I like mysteries and history books, and so I've read tons of history books about Black history, American, African American history, and things like that, and African history. But I don't pick up a book and try to figure out who the author is or what their political stance is or what color they are. Um, in some cases, I couldn't even care if it's a man or a woman. If they're writing a good book, that's all I want is a good story, something that'll suck me in, preferably something that's like 3 or 4 books long. Um, and I usually get a lot of flack from that because they're like, "Oh, you're whitewashing your books." It's like half of them don't even have pictures of the authors on them. So I don't buy a lot of hardcover books. I buy paperbacks because I am cheap. And if I can get them, I go to the Ark and to Goodwill where I can get books for 25 cents. Cool. Yacht Ocon. Oh my goodness. You should put that on a shirt, Tina. I love it. That's generally how this works. And now next week, Disney will announce a Star Wars cruise with the stars of Bad Batch and whatever. That's how my life works. Yeah, that is true. It makes the monkey work go by. My work is almost all uh, desk based, and I can only take certain things into areas where I work. So being able to um, listen to it in the background in my office is nice. But then when I have to go up and go do something, I can't take it with me because I can't take my phone certain places. So oh yeah, yeah, he is. I really wish somebody would do a good version of these. The Dragonlance world is just screaming for a television show or something. And I don't want them, that animated thing was horrible. Just horrible. They really need to take each book as a season and just break those down. Then after that, you can pick and choose from all the different books. I mean, there's like 100 books in the Dragonlance thing now. And so you could pick up stuff and I think it would work. I mean, I don't need to see another Lord of the Rings. I don't care. But you throw, $500 million at a Dragonlance show. That's an IP that's just sitting, waiting for somebody to do something with. What's up, Americas? How you doing? Good to see you, man. It was good catching you the other night on with Mr. Stargill, sitting out on his porch in the rain. That looked so nice. It was so hot here that day, and I was watching. I'm like, oh, I wish I was sitting just across from him. Yeah, I mean, it really is, and I know it's everything is derivative. I Everything is derivative of something else. It's derivative of D&D itself, simply because it did come from Sessions, and it's also derivative of Lord of the Rings. But all high fantasy anymore is, and even the stuff Tolkien was writing from, is derivative of other things. It was his way of writing a fake history for England, um, using Norse stuff and things like that. Every story is derivative. That's why it drives me up a wall when people are like, "Oh, the Bad Batch is just Mandalorian with a new skin." Yeah, the Mandalorian is just Rebels with a new skin, and Rebels was just Clone Wars with a new skin, and the Clone Wars were just, it's the same thing. There are only so many stories. This is why, if you really want to read some nice stuff or watch an interesting series that will put most people to sleep, is Joseph Campbell's books on myths and mythologies and the hero's journey, which George Lucas took classes with him, and you know Joseph said he was his best student ever. And it really says there's basically only like 5 or 6 myths, and we've all been repeating them in every society forever. Um, you know, there you go, Mark. See, I can't I I use YouTube as my um, podcasts, so I listen to true crime stories and things like that, or that kind of thing. I love Dresden. There's another IP that's just waiting for somebody to do it properly. That Sci-Fi Channel show was god awful. It didn't even get the basic characters right. Um, I think I've read all of them. I think there's 14 of them now. The other is the Pendergrass books by uh, Lincoln Child and was it Child? Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, I think. Those are dying to be turned into movies, and they made Relic and a couple of other things from it, but they didn't really use him. They need to set that up as something, you know. Yeah, it's he is a key to learning things. And I do say when I was younger, I had a bigger understanding, but as I've gotten older and older, I've moved away a lot away from Greek um, history and stuff. I don't know why. It just kind of faded away. Um, even Roman history to a point has really faded away from me, except for Rome when they conquered England and some of the stuff and for the Germanic tribes and stuff. And then it overlaps other things I follow, but um, now I'm kind of really big into Victorian history, and because that's when the world really changed again, and we basically have most of the modern world we have now is during the Victorian era. You know, apart from Britain running around and raping the planet. Yeah, that cartoon was just, it was so bad. Oh, but see, that's the opposite for me. If I start reading, I'll fall asleep. Yeah, and did you care, or did you assume that because they were writing for a TV show, it was a dude? Um, that's where our individual prejudices and stuff lie. Is like I've been reading. Well, I just started reading J.K. Rowling's news series that she wrote, which involves a um, Afghanistan vet coming back. and he's lost a leg, and he becomes a private investigator. And they made it into a series. Each book is like a 2 hour movie, a 2 part movie, um, for the BBC, and they were great. And now I've started reading the books; they're really good. And I didn't even know she wrote them, but I didn't care because all I wanted was a good story. And then when I watched the shows and it say, executive producer J.K. Rowling, I was like, wait a minute, what? What the? Oh my goodness! I would so play a Dragonlance game. Ah, oh, man, that'd be so cool. Yeah, when you're watching those old PBS series and stuff he did, that can be very dry and it can really put some people down. But if you want to test somebody you're dating and they say they like history, suggest that you watch an episode of Power of the Myth with Joseph Campbell, and either they'll say, "Huh," or they'll say, "Ooh, I've watched that." That's the person you want, who can sit and watch an incredibly dry conversation like this, really. So if they can put up with me, then they can put up with you. It's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's why early Star Wars works so well. And I think, um, it's. Oh, thank you, Dave. Um, I think that's where Star Wars has kind of lost its way. It stopped being. Star Wars is not science fiction. Star Wars is science fantasy. Star Trek is science fiction. So you can't have the whole Star Wars versus Star Trek thing because it doesn't exist, because one has a force power and one has dilithium crystals. They don't interchange. They don't work. Who would win, Captain Kirk or Luke Skywalker? Luke Skywalker, because he would go and snap Kirk's neck. That's how that works. But I think Star Wars is kind of that's why Mandalorian struck a good chord, because it was not only returning to some of the roots of the Seven Samurai and uh, Wolf and Chick. No, that's Bob's Burgers. Wolf and Cub. Now I've confused myself. Anyway, um, and it got back to more of that hero's journey, and I think that's what the sequels were missing. The sequels tried to do a Michael Bay version of the hero's journey, and just quicker, faster, go, 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 go. Well, you need building time, and yeah, I think that's where we kind of left, where we lost some stuff. Yeah, Luke, I honestly, dude, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and everybody complains about history. Today's kids are not taught history the same way we were. And we mean Gen X. Gen X was probably the last generation to actually be taught history and not a social history. And that means that generally American history is taught in 4 year blocks with names and dates of the presidents and the events that happened in those years. We were taught about Native American culture. We were taught about the Trail of Tears. We were taught about the Civil War, Reconstruction, World War One, World War Two, and Vietnam. And if we were lucky and we had enough time left in the school year, we'd talk about the end of the civil rights movement and into the 60s, beyond Kennedy's death, and a little bit into Vietnam. We always seem to run out of time. But, um, and we had civics classes that actually taught us how the government works and who's in charge when something happens, or things like that. We also were taught things like how to balance a checkbook, um, how to cook an egg. Everybody, thought it was funny that all of us were taking home ec classes. Well, yeah, but I know how to sew. I know how to cook. Um, I may not be the best sewer in the world, but I can at least fix things if they rip. We had metal shop and we had woodworking. I know how to run a lathe. I know how to run a bandsaw. I was never very good at the metalworking stuff because I couldn't work up the blow torches because of my eye. I can't take the flashing in the light. It hurts my eye. So I never was very good at that. But we had auto mechanic classes. Our school would buy a junker car at the beginning of the year, and our auto club would work and fix it. And we had teachers who would come in and teach kids how to fix cars and things. And then at the end of the year, they sold the car. Not only did each kid get some money out of the class, it was enough money to buy the next year's junker car. We don't have any of that stuff anymore. All right, night. And I think it's while I am pretty much a social historian. I do love movements. I love how things happen, why things happen. I think we're now putting too much emphasis on that instead of how things work and why things work. And like that, the meme is that's not how any of this works, or better yet, that's not how the Force works. And Star Wars has forgotten how the Force works. Yeah, yeah, and she had to, um, to write for some of those magazines. She had to do it. There is a great Deep Space Nine episode, my favorite Deep Space Nine episode ever, and it takes place possibly in the real world. We're never really sure what happened, but it takes the Deep Space Nine cast and it puts them back into the 1950s, and most of them work at a science fiction um, office, and everybody had to cover up the fact that they were black, that they were female, um, you know, and it was a great episode. It's called Far Beyond the Stars, and it's one of Avery Brooks's best performances as Cisco. Cisco is the best captain, hands down. End of story. And he directed this episode. If you have a chance, watch it. Hey Gary, how you doing? Yeah, it just and it's not like you have to. You don't have to. I know I am literally talking up his work, but as long as you explain it to somebody, you know, no reality TV, sometimes sports. Yeah, I hate reality TV. Ah, Akira Kurosawa. They're going to have a film festival here in Denver supposedly in September with a whole bunch of his films. I would love to go see at least Ran and the Seventh Samurai. I don't know what else I'll go see, but we'll see. Thank you. It's since Bob's Burgers does such a great parody of it because they love the series too. I get those confused now. Yep. It is true from a certain point of view. Yeah. And the other problem is that they don't feel they need to know these things because they have the internet. And you ask them, name three people on the Supreme Court, and they'll be like, and that's what you'll get from them. They have no idea. All these people are like, oh, Nancy Pelosi's going to be president because we're going to arrest Trump and blah blah blah. And like, no, that's not how that works. There's another person in between him and Pelosi, and that wouldn't even work because the instant Trump was removed and Pence would have become president, there would have been another vice president, and he gets to pick his vice president. Now, if the House of Representatives doesn't like it, they can, in fact, just make Pelosi vice president. But then they'd have to get rid of him. So it wasn't ever. Kids don't understand how the government works. Like, you really want to get change done, you don't do national stuff. The Congress was literally set up to not function. The House and the Senate especially, was set up to be arguable. So, because the federal government was never supposed to do what it says set up to do now. If you want to make change, go to your school board, go to your local board of electors. Get your mayor, get your governor. Your state is where you make changes. The federal level can make overriding changes, like Juneteenth. Enough states finally were doing stuff with Juneteenth that it came up. Well, why not? It's the first new holiday we've had since Martin Luther King Day, and that was back in the 80s. Maybe it was time for a new holiday. You know, yes, truth, truth, right there, sir. Well, and that's the rub of private schools. Some private schools are incredibly good, and some of them are very narrow based. Now, I'm not gonna say that because it was Baptist or Catholic school or whatever that you're only going to get certain things, but I think the Catholic schools and stuff are better now than they were. But I can guarantee you that being in public schools when I was a kid was much better than going to the Catholic schools that some of my friends did, because it was the same thing. They only got certain amounts of history. Um, you know, yeah, and that there are always other views. Look at the Battle of Little Bighorn or the Battle of Greasy Grass, as it should be called, because that's what that area was called. Um, you have the Battle of Bull Run or Manassas, is what the Confederates called it. So whose version is right? And so you always have there's always different viewpoints on something, but the fact doesn't change. The fact that dumbass Custer decided to go up on the hill and die never changes. Now, why he went up there, how the natives responded, and how the U.S. responded after it is all subjectable. Some of those are set facts. Some of them are from different points of view of an event. Um, there's and that's how the Civil War is. That's how all big events in history are. Um, there are very few events in our history we actually all agree on. Yes. Oh, you had a radio station. We weren't allowed one because there was a military base too close to us, so we weren't allowed to have one. Which was funny because there was a huge ham radio store not too far away from us. Yeah, and the I don't remember what it's called. That really long documentary that they did for the anniversaries not too long ago, and they talk about the films of the '70s and how depressing they were, and how people were looking for fun. And Lucas brought that fun back, and movies have never been the same since. I kind of think we slid into something like that before um, Potter and the Matrix and Marvel started. We started getting back into doom and gloom. Um, ooh, cool. Let us know. There's but narrowing things down is never a bad idea. Freud, there's a lot of people who rip on Freud now, who used to be his biggest supporters. A lot like Stephen Hawking. Now a whole bunch of people are disproving some of Hawking's theories, and they're like, oh, well, maybe he wasn't so smart. What do you mean he wasn't that smart? First of all, that he lived as long as he did is already better than you. Secondly, he could still whip your mind up in a second. But and Campbell does move things down to its base levels, but the myths and stuff he was look at have been like that. Poor Bob. Yeah, and even the Magnificent Seven's been redone again, or the Dirty Dozen. Um, you know, 13th Warrior wasn't that bad. That was a pretty decent film, and you get stuff like that. And there's no I got something. My allergies are so bad this year. Um, his work can never be underestimated. What they did, and how they affected cinema in ways that nobody really understands because nobody gave him credit. You know, Lucas and John Ford and a couple others did talk about him, but really nobody really saw it. Did I? I didn't mean to. I will slip in and out of accents as every once in a while, depending on what I happen to be talking about. I guess he was a dumbass though. One of the great stories about Custer is during the Civil War, he was under McClellan, and um, McClellan came to the side of a river, and he couldn't decide if they would ford it or not. And they were having a big discussion about how deep it is in the center and stuff like that. Custer rides out right past him, right into the middle of the water, and says, "General, here's how deep it is," and rides to the other side and goes off. And unfortunately, just a dumbass. Oh, cool. I've always wanted to go and do some of those unit storage unit things. Oh, cool. I will go watch it. Everybody drop over and give a like and stuff to that. Um, I sent GeForce a little something to show my appreciation. You know, yeah. The soundtrack. I mean, why are you changing stuff? That's why I don't like the new versions of Nosferatu and stuff. I know that they found some of the original sheet music and stuff, but Nosferatu was scary as hell with no sound. Just scary as hell. Yeah. Well, and that's my problem I have with oh, what's his name? The guy who did the new Cosmos series that thinks he's all that in a bag of chips. And he is. He's an incredibly smart man. But when you allow people to overstep, it's probably not right to say overstep their roles, but scientists never really get a lot of, and like historians, a lot of praise. And so once we lock on to one and give them praise and stuff, they tend to get out of their lane and start talking about things that they're not specialists in. And or we like them, so we give them documentary series to talk about things that aren't in their wheelhouse. We just assume that they know what they're talking about because it says scientist right there, or doctor, or whatever. But um, I can't remember for the life of me his name. Also, big black dude, um, super smart, and I love the new Cosmos series. It was really nice. I think things like that need updated every so often. Just like maybe the hero's journey thing needs to be redone. I'm talking about some people from both sides, pro Campbell side and anti Campbell side, and have a discussion about it if we're allowed to have discussions anymore, which seems to be a lost art. Um, but hey, are you guys trying to distract me so I don't open things? That's the whole point of this stream. All right, I'm going to start opening stuff while we keep talking. Very true. That is a very Victorian way of looking at the world. That everything is really all the same, and that we're just kind of slightly separated. And he was very um, right. He was very wrong about doing that because not all of them boil down. But I mean, I would still say there's probably only 5 or 6 basic myths that permeate the world, whether it's China or India or Central Africa, that kind of thing. Yeah, the lack of sound. That's what I wish people like Zimmerman and Michael Bay would remember the lack of sound can sometimes be the scariest part of something. There are parts of Alien that have no music in them, and it's scary as hell. You know. Oh no, dude. No, no, no. I'm we're barely hanging on to the 11 people that are here still. I don't want to lose everybody but me and you. So, I've decided to open up some of my Ghostbusters figures. So, I have pre-cut the bottoms of them so I can get them open easier, which now doesn't seem like it is actually going to help at all. Don't care. There we go. There is no Dana, only Zool. She is pretty cool. She comes with, what is this? The head? The body? Oh, yeah, there we go. So she comes with the core body for the Build-A-Figure. I wonder if they're going to do Build-A-Figures for the next wave as well. Jeez. You know, I must put these through some heating thing before they put them out. So here's Dana. Pretty great. Oops. She got double knee joints. Should stand up pretty cool. Wow, pivots on her feet and everything. That's pretty cool. I don't open a lot of stuff, so you're going to have to bear with me that these are probably just normal things every figure has now that I'm just now getting to see. Got a decent waist. Good head movement. Wow, that's pretty cool. Of course, the figure really didn't have anything, but the sculpt on the face is really great. And that's why I don't like slasher movies, and I never really have. Now, 80s slashers are different. Whether it's something like Friday the 13th, parts 1, 2, or 3, or Nightmare on Elm Street, Chopping Mall for a classic. Those I kind of like just because, they were new to us, and it's hard to imagine a world without Freddy and Jason and Michael. I mean, if you really go back and watch Halloween is kind of boring. But it also doesn't have these really bloody kills because it doesn't need it. It has suspense. And people liked it. And people still like it. People still are, there's 9 or 10 Halloween movies now? They're constantly trying to, redo this movie and get that magic back. That's why I think Terminator doesn't work anymore. I think after Terminator 2, Terminator was broken and couldn't actually be fixed. They should have just left it alone. So I am opening Peter Venkman now, and he comes with a cool ghost trap. They do to me because if I move my ankle like that, it'd click quite a lot. It sounds a lot like this. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Where do I go here? All right. Does that go here? Does that go here? Yeah. So it comes with the back leg. Pop that in. Cool. And an ecto or proton pack. Now, what I like about, they did just reissue these figures with marshmallow on them. Ooh, that didn't sound good. And the only reason I would think to buy them is because now at least all of them have the proton thrower, and because they didn't before. It's actually a really good likeness of Bill Murray. Uniform's pretty cool. Let's see what I got here. How's this open? Oh, that's a waist. Well, how do you get that around? Oh, I see. No, I don't. No, I do. Okay. Put around that. Piece around here. Yeah. Okay. And this clips back onto there. Like that. Anybody know if Bill Murray is left or right-handed? I'll assume he's right-handed. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's why, in its own way, I think that's why not Supernatural. Well, Supernatural as well, but I think that's why Stranger Things did so well, because Stranger Things really was a throwback to the kind of horror that was horror thriller, not kills. I don't like things like Saw. What is the point of that? I don't get why anybody would want to sit and watch that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, he's got double knees too, which do pop kind of the way mine do from football, and he's got the same pivotable ankle joint. Pretty cool. They have pegs in their feet. I'll have to buy some stands for these. What else? Who's next? Stance. All right. Okay, and this is the other leg. I don't think I'm going to have a head. I don't have an extra Winston or Gozer. So I think I'm going to end up with missing one front leg and a head when I'm done. Who's left in here? Oh, yeah. 3, 4. Yeah. So I'm going to miss one front leg and a head when I'm done. So I might have to eventually buy some of those. I know they're out. I don't want to pay full price for them. But, it's up there. I almost opened it the other day, but then I changed my mind. Although if you all saw on I think it was Amazon Prime today, they had that's cool, his goggles, Kylo Ren's lightsaber on sale for $100. So that was pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I like that. Can't the goggles won't go all the way down, but it's good enough. Yeah. Well, and I think that's why some of these shows you're seeing that you were mentioning earlier, the others and stuff like that, I think they took some cues from what people liked about Stranger Things, and that you could actually do horror without being slasher. You could do jump scares. You could do that kind of stuff. I'm not going to waste your time, guys, by putting this on him. But, I do. I have the set of the figures, just the small ones on card. And then I had a stuffed Oblina. Nice. Night, Tina. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah. I shared it out on several things, but it might still be up. It's hard to tell. I don't know how long it was going to be up. It wasn't I don't think it was a timed sale. I actually think it was something you could get anytime. So then I'm actually going to throw the boxes away. Is another Sleeping would be mad at. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so right leg. There we go. Oh, nope. I'm going to be like everybody else trying to put their Build-A-Figures together. Do I need a hair dryer? There it goes. No. Why does it keep sounding like it's going? There it goes. That's pretty cool. But of these Ghostbusters, I missed on the Rick Moranis figure. So I don't have a second dog to go with it. Not that I would have opened that anyway, because it was far too expensive. Cool. Little PKE meter. When I'm done, all this is going to go into a Ziploc bag so I don't lose all the pieces. Which is what happened to a whole bunch of my G.I. Joes and stuff and Star Wars figures, is I lost all the guns and stuff over the years. And by lost, I mean they're going to be found when archaeologists dig up backyards at some point. They're going to try and figure out what the hell all this stuff was. Key. So that is Egon, the late great Harold Ramis. Oh, I didn't even see that they've got you can push there's got a little bolt on the back you can push the stuff in for. Cool. Yeah, and it's Shamalama does some decent stuff. But we won't talk about Airbender. Exactly what's going on there? What is on his belt that is plugged into his thigh? They all have it. Weird. Huh. So, opened up the three main guys. I will definitely buy a Winston so I can set them all up. Maybe somebody will start 3D printing some of the proton throwers stuff. I don't think I need to get a Gozer, but hey, Canadian Blu-ray, how you doing? Okay, so I can open up next a couple Black Series figures, or next I can do Ash and Doc Brown. What does everybody want to see next? Give me a quick little well, by the law of averages, at least one of them should be decent. Nice. The only one I need, I have. I have Master Sidious's. That's the only one I need. All right, come on. Tell me Star Wars or NECA. What? Or if you don't care, say I don't care. This is my first time ever opening a whole bunch of stuff, so I don't know what everybody wants to see. But it is kind of sad that I could not give these away at the show. It's Poe and Rey for $5 a piece. Black Series figures for $5 a piece, and I could not give them away. Nobody wanted them. It was very sad. These I'm going to be a little more careful with, because until I get my thing I want set up, I know these are easy to slide in and out because I opened that Ahsoka not too long ago. So to go for that. All right. So G-Force said Black Series, and I was already screwing with it. So now we're opening Black Series. So I would lose his gun right away. You hear it? The figure is screaming. It doesn't want to come out. It wants to stay in its home. That's not too bad. I mean, they could do a better face sculpt on him. I'm sure. That's the thing, is I don't want him to re-release this figure with a new head sculpt. If they want to put him out in an archive line, that's fine. But, you know, he did wear other outfits. Just put him in something new. Give us a new Poe, not just a Poe with a new thing. Wow, that shirt's cool. It's pretty cool. He's pretty nice. Comes with a gun. I don't know if I really like this. They tried to do a 5 o'clock shadow on him, and I don't think that works very well. So put that in here. And then next up is Island Journey Ray. Well, and we've talked about this many times, or I have. It's not that I don't want the Disney Star Wars movies to fail. I just want them to be better. I want a story. I want them to figure out what they want first. Oh, this is cool. So she's got her bow, and she can wrap that around. She'll be able to hold that nice. I just wanted them to figure out a story before they start shooting something. Like, I'm positive, for the most part, Dave Filoni had at least the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian mapped out, at least in his head, if not in a rough draft, before the Mandalorian even started shooting day 1. He may not have known who he was casting for stuff in season 2, but Rey just lost her lightsaber. I'm as bad as Aaron and his Gundams. There it is. And as much as it was redundant, I actually kind of liked The Force Awakens. I thought they introduced a good set of characters that might go somewhere. I'll always go down saying that the problem with them is that they didn't have a plot ready for Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi. If JJ had an idea of where things were going, he needed to tell Rian Johnson before he left. And if he left any notes, then that's Ryan's fault that he didn't follow him. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's got a nice cloth cape. Has a hood, does it? There we go. Star Wars likes its ponchos and its capes. Does it come apart? Oh, it'll just come off. Okay. So there's Rey, and she can have her, give her staff, and give her Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. What the hell is this? Is she left-handed? Those little itty bitty holes that she supposedly has for hands for this to go through. So I guess I'll stick the other end up, work it through. There we go. Okay. All right, Daisy. Hold still. There you go. Cool. I have a Luke, ceremonial Luke, that I'm going to open at some point too. I don't know where what happened to that. But oh, I'm counting on it breaking on me because I have heard horror stories about NECA. So first, I'm going to open Ash. And he has a whole bunch of stuff to lose. Wow, that is a lot of small pieces. Wow. Okay, he has, not only does he have 3 hands, look at all these little equipment things. Let's see. All those little pieces of medical equipment and stuff to lose. And then a squishy head. Jeez. Okay, let's see. See? Oh man, nobody told me there were twist ties. I hate twist ties. Okay, how's this? Oh, how are these tied in here? No wonder they break when people try and get them out. Yeah. And that is my fundamental problem with the DC universe and Superman. They don't understand who Superman is. And they just want him to be God mode and run around and beat people to death. And that's what they want. And that's not what Superman is. Superman isn't somebody who will just kill you because he can is the reason he doesn't. And they don't seem to think about that. You know, the whole thing, the whole Batman versus Superman thing was always a joke because yes, we've always known that Batman has always made plans to be able to take Superman out if he ever turned on him. But the Batman Superman we got was just junk. And any second, he could have just zapped him with his laser eyes and killed the bat, and that would have been that. So, I know, right? I hate to open my Anakin. I'll never find that saber. All right, jeez. Now his legs are... Okay. All right. That would be kind of cool. Have a First Peoples character. I know it's going to break. I am not taking all this other stuff out of this. That can all stay in here for the moment. I've already lost a hand. Oh, there it is. Wow. Okay. All that can just stay right there. So here's Kane. Wow, what a weird feeling. The plastic's weird. It's the first NECA figure I've ever opened. Ooh, man. I just moved his elbow and little pieces of it popped out. Little pieces of plastic. Well, I can see why people would like dip these in hot water to loosen these up. No wonder these snap when people play with them or display them. I can really see why they do that. This really does need to be heated up a little bit, which it shouldn't. Use a better plastic. I am afraid to move his kneecaps. He does not have the cool ankles like everybody else. He doesn't even have a waist. His waist doesn't move. Huh. He can do the splits. Exactly. Yes. It's always about restraint because he can always destroy anyone he's against. And he doesn't. It's kind of like Margaret Thatcher said something after the war. Said something about the United States after the war. What she said was, all you have to do to look at the kindness and goodness of America is to understand that after the war, they were the only ones that had the bomb and they didn't use it to their advantage. And that's how Superman is. Superman is a giant atomic weapon waiting to be unleashed on the world. And the fact that he pulls back everything when Death in the Family happened, and Bruce goes to kill the Joker, who at that time is the ambassador to Iran. Superman tries to stop him, and he says, get out of my way, Clark. And he says, no, Bruce, I can't let you do this. And he takes a swing at Superman. And the panel has him making contact, and Clark moves his head. And Bruce comes back with his hand, and he's like, I think I just broke every bone in my hand. And of course, Superman just looks at it with his X-ray vision and says, no, there's just a couple fractures, but you would have if I hadn't gone with that punch. Because he knew at that time how hurt Bruce was. And he decided not to take advantage of that and, crush him, which he could have. I hate those stupid ties. I hated them when I was worked at KB. It wasn't a bad weekend. I had to work. I had 5 out of 6 of my last shifts have been 12-hour shifts. So it was long, but I did get some good YouTube in. That head is frightening, especially because now that I know there's a Sleeping Hollow Headless Horseman, I may buy it and open one and then just put this in his hand. You know what it looks like is, you remember in Terminator 2 and Ruben Blaze's character, and you see a close-up of his face, it looks a lot like that, and as it walks away, the Predator has it in his hand. That's what this looks like. This is a Predator piece. So this is Doc Brown, Ultimate Doc Brown. He comes with a couple hands and a wrench and his goggles. Looks like he also comes with some, the plans for the flux capacitor. And again, I forgot these have ties already. We used to have to open stuff and display it. And man, we would sit there for hours doing these stupid ties. I hated them so much. Hope we have time to get this guy out. I don't really want to hang you guys up for too much longer. Yeah. Blue, what's up? Ish, how you doing? I am fighting to open up my last figure here. Yeah, that's why that's what I forgot. We were picking our next movie. For those of you who did pop in last night, thank you. I know it was a hard struggle. We watched Weekend at Bernie's. And the problem with watching Weekend at Bernie's, we found, is that Sleeping has watched it a zillion times and knows it. So he didn't really need to pay attention to the movie at all. All right, you're pissing me off. And neither me nor Brandon had seen it in so long that we were actually paying attention to the movie. Oops. Oh, by the way, don't cut towards yourself. That's how I sliced my wrist open. There we go. Okay. All right. Haha. Take that, stupid ties. So we were kind of boring last night. I'd like to apologize for anybody who did stop by. It really means a lot that you did stop by and that you dropped a like or whatever. I think a lot of people have either started watching it or whatever in a review. But we went for almost 2 hours, and I looked at the analytics, and people generally watch for about 4 minutes and then turn it off. I think I'm the only one who watched it all the way through for 2 hours. today when I was watching a rewatch, just to get some time. Man, no wonder these break. They really put these in here in a way that is not great. Whoa! What's that from? Cool. Come on. There we go. Okay, so here's Doc Brown. And something I did not know is that his pants are ripped. So what's up with that? Oh, that's because that's at the end of the movie. That's right. Okay. I forgot where we were in the movie in this outfit. So we had to pick 2 new movies today, and I picked UHF and I can't remember the other one. Oh, and Basketball, because I think we need to do a good comedy, good slapstick comedies. But now I really wish I would have done Running Man. But we just watched Predator and Predator 2, and Weekend at Bernie's I thought really was cool. Wow, they got like his shoes have buckles and stuff on them. This is really cool. Christopher Lloyd is a great character anyway in this. And the outfit's nice. Man, this is really a cool figure. I don't think I'm so afraid of taking his head off. And now he will never have a head again. Ball joints. Please don't break. Please don't break. Please don't break. Please don't break. Damn. How do people do this? There we go. I'm putting his other head back on. So, he's cool. Max, it was great. How was yours? I only had to work 8 hours today, so it was super awesome. Then I got to come and talk to all you guys, which is also awesome. So, got my Ghostbusters dude and an alien, a couple Star Wars figures, and my Doc Brown. So it'll be an interesting display when I get it together. Oh, I know what I'll do. If I can find some things for their proton packs, I'll have them try and attack Rey, and I'll give Rey another lightsaber, and I'll have her blocking it, teach those Ghostbusters a lesson. Very true. I would buy either of those. And they've done, everybody's like, oh, they'd never do stuff like that. Well, why not? NECA did Christmas Vacation ones and Home Alone and Karate Kid and Bob Ross and Richard Simmons. There are weirder things. Well, I don't like that these aren't. I really don't like that these aren't the same scale. Man. But yeah, I would love some of those. Both of those would be cool. But it does say right on the packaging that this is not a toy. Yeah, collect them all. Not a toy. So, only other thing real quick, before I get out of here in a few minutes, I got to do, I got to go over to John's. I think he starts at here in about 7 minutes. So, I was going to do these. Maybe I'll do these on another stream this week. I went to my comic book store for the last time. I cleaned my box out. So maybe Wednesday I'll do a quick comic book stream and show everybody what I got, see what everybody else is up to. Oh yeah, UHF. There was no way. I mean, you know what it opened up against, right? Batman and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He didn't stand a chance with that movie, and I love it. I'm gonna get you sucker on the list. I like that. There's a couple really good Bill Cosby movies I'd love to put on there. I don't think we'll ever do I think the Mel Brooks stuff, there are some great reviewers out there who do watch alongs and stuff. And I think we want to do more stuff that people don't hit up every often. That's why Sleeping suggested Weekend at Bernie's, because I don't really see a lot of people reacting to Weekend at Bernie's because it's not rewatching it. It takes like almost 40 minutes just to get to the plot, really. Um, you know, so yeah, it kind of is. I think I'll probably do that because it really is almost. I think it's almost 3 months worth of comics that I usually get. I didn't know I hadn't picked up comics in a while, and they were like, "Hey, you should pick up your comics." I was like, "What? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I will. Thank you." So, um, yeah, so I don't know who else has put in so far, but I put UHF and basketball in. I also, if you haven't watched a movie called Brain Donors, I'd love to do that sometime. Um, and that I love that movie. I don't think either Sleeping or um, John or Dude or Brandon will have watched it. We're also missing a couple people. So if anybody would like to be part of our Sunday watches, I might see if the guys want to move them earlier because I think it's getting kind of late for people, to maybe 8 o'clock Sunday night instead of, or to 9 o'clock Sunday night Eastern time instead of 10, just so everybody gets a little bit more space to go to sleep. Now it does make it 6 o'clock Pacific time, I think. Let me think. It's 9. Yeah, so it'd be 6-ish. So you know, I tell you what, if I find it, that's another one I don't want to open, but I almost have to. I mean, it's so pretty, but I haven't seen it yet. So I do not a whole bunch. I mostly collect weird things, and I also collect Transformers and Star Wars. I mean, I've got some of the new stuff for um, that. I collect Firefly. There's Firefly in here. There's Star Trek in here. There's My Little Pony. Don't look at me like that. It's Transformers and My Little Pony. It makes it okay. I don't know why the other one was okay. I don't know why they felt they needed a new one. But by the way, Godzilla is coming back. Of course, he, as always, has to be teamed up with children for some reason. Some sort of weird, I don't know. There's a private school girl and boy, someone who wants to be Velma, somebody who clearly wants to be Ash. Who knows? I might buy it just because it's, uh, Godzilla. So we'll see. Yes, it is My Little Pony. I don't know. This is um, they tell you. I like how they tell you in these IDW books who's going to be in this thing. So there's the ponies, um, Octavia, Vinyl Scratch. Oh my God, it's a DJ. How are they DJs? I guess that doesn't matter. Never mind. I don't want to know. Optimus Prime, RC, Greenlight. I don't know who that is. Megatron, Starscream, Shockwave, Frenzy, and Breakdown. Oh my God. Frenzy, what are you reading? It's a funny book from that Pony World. One of them gave us a bunch of presents in between fights. And you actually like it? What? Big Bad Breakdown's too cool to enjoy escapism or exploitation and magic? Premise forbid that we ever take a break from the endless war to appreciate a little beauty or happiness inside, huh? Yikes. Okay. Maybe I can borrow it when you're done. Silence, imbeciles. Oh my God, this is going to be great. Escapism. That's what comics are supposed to be. I have not collected anything from any anime. I never really got into anime. The closest I ever got was Voltron, and Robotech and that kind of stuff. But I never really got into like Dragon Ball or Dirty Pair or One Piece and One Punch Man and all that stuff. I never saw the appeal to manga, and I don't, the anime stuff. I don't know why. I just never have. I liked them. I own them all. I got those reissues. I have the originals too, but I picked up those reissues. Anything that they've done for those reissues, I've picked up so far. I've got, except the Prime. The Prime in that little itty bitty box, that was not worth $40. You give me a Prime with his cab, and it's fine. So, all right, Dave. See you later. I gotta close up for everybody. Thank you all for dropping by. Oh, Happy Tree Friends is fun. Hey, Tasman, I'm actually just shutting everything down so we can go over to Joker's and see what's going on over there. Blue, you did live? Oh, man. I'm going to have to go back and find that. I love Scorpionak. I've got the new bigger one. I got cheap, so I picked it up, but I won't ever open them. There are very few. I almost opened a couple of the 86s, but I haven't yet. So we'll see. So, all right, guys, again, thank you. Please go over to John Joker's channel. It's another night for trivia. I don't know who's on tonight, but it'll be fun no matter who. So until the next time, I'll probably throw something up for a Wednesday comic book stream. Maybe I'll scan a few pages and show you guys. But until then, catch you on the flip side.